This question is very clearly testing punctuation. They're changing the punctuation. That should be obvious, but it's also changing the wording. And so we need to be careful. If we change one thing and the wording is also changing, we might overcorrect a problem. So regardless, we need to be thinking about sentence structure. So let's take a look here. What do we have? Where protection does have a major economic impact is in local communities. That's a sentence. Now, I get that it's a little backwardsy sounding, but it is a sentence. We maybe would probably write it somewhere like kind of like backwards, something like local communities have a major impact, right? Like that's something along the lines of what we would normally say. So the subject and the verb have kind of been flipped, but it is a sentence that could stand on its own. So now we have to see, well, what's coming after that? Is that also a sentence? Because if it is, we need a strong punctuation mark like a period or a semicolon. So let's take a look. As written, it says, visitors to protected lands need food, fuel, and lodging, and businesses that cater to these needs provide job opportunities in the surrounding communities. Well, that's also a sentence. Technically, it's kind of like two sentences because we have the conjunction here that's combining my two ideas. The main problem here is that this part is all going to be a new sentence. Then we have businesses that cater to these needs provide job opportunities. That's also its own sentence, but that part is punctuated correctly because of the conjunction. So right now we have a problem. This is a run-on sentence, and choice C is not going to correct that because just adding a comma does not fix it. We would need a comma and a conjunction, like that word and that's highlighted. So both of those together are going to be big problems for us. Now, the simplest solution is if we have two complete sentences, then just use a period. So that's probably where we should head. We do see that the word while here is going to change things a little bit because normally we would think, okay, periods and semicolons are exactly the same. A semicolon is used to separate two complete sentences. You need to memorize that. So if we see a period and a semicolon in our answer choices, normally we just cross them both out because they're the same thing. There's really no way to tell them apart. But when you change the wording, you're not making them the same anymore. Now they're different, right? It might be the case that the period is right and the semicolon is wrong because the semicolon has a new feature, this word while, that's changing it. And so that's exactly what's happening. D is right, because it is just separating the sentences that we've already read into complete sentences with a period. If we add the while, we've turned that first, or I guess that second part, into a fragment. While visitors to protected lands need food, fuel, and lodging, and businesses that cater to these needs provide job opportunities in surrounding communities, the while makes it an intro clause. It makes it something that's leading into something else, and there's nothing else there. The sentence ends. It's long, but it just kind of ends there, and so the while is going to cause a big problem. This is the kind of thing that's really tricky because it's a lot going on. Little words can have a big impact on the structure. And so, as always, our main strategy is predict the question. Know what you're getting into before you really start this. This is a very obvious fragments and run-ons question. We're changing the punctuation, but we're also changing the wording. And both of those things together create a lot of issues, and we've got to pay attention to all of them before we choose our answer.